An upcoming coffee and conversation event will give you a chance to speak with your local state representative. And with us right here, live on the Splash to give out more details about that event is State Senator Rosemary Bayer. Thank you for being here, Senator.
Hey, Kevin, it's a delight to be here. You know, I live in West Bloomfield, so plus we're on Zoom.
Absolutely, and we appreciate you for being here. First and foremost, we value your time. We just want to talk about this event first and foremost and the actual purpose of it. So let's get into what are some of the biggest concerns that you've been hearing from some West Bloomfield residents in general?
Thanks. Well, I will tell you, we are really excited to have coffee. Come and join us on Friday at 11 at the library, at the main branch library. And we'll talk about whatever the folks in the room want to talk about. That's how we do our coffee hours. It's always about who's there and what are the topics of the day for folks that are in the room. For now, I will tell you that the things that we work on are things that most of you are involved with in one way or another. We call ourselves the Lakes, right? The Lakes area. Almost everything we do in West Bloomfield has something to do with the water. We are spending a lot of time working to help make things better, easier for people to access the water, make sure we protect the water, make sure that the road work is also relevant to the water, right? We always want to make sure that conversation includes our water, our lakes, taking care of our lakes, and the beautiful environment that we work so hard to maintain in West Bloomfield. So it's really, really important to me. We have a number of pieces of legislation in the works, but things that were already there that we use to try to help protect and take care of the resources that we have here. We really are lucky. And sometimes I'll say that people, you know what, I think my district is more water than land. It feels that way sometimes for all of us, right? You drive down from one side to the other of the township and you pass like 17 lakes and there you go. So that is a huge part of it. Happily, that is one of the main reasons that I ran for office in the very beginning, 6 or 7 years ago. I wanted to protect water. So this is in my soul. And that's why I wanted to move to West Bloomfield. And I live here now and I love it. I got water in my backyard.
Right. And it's a great opportunity, like we said, for local residents to actually come and have their voices be heard. Anything that they want to discuss or anything that they want to find out from their local senator, this is that great opportunity for them to do that at Coffee and Conversations. Now, I want to talk about any upcoming legislative initiatives that will directly impact West Bloomfield Township and the surrounding communities that you can share with us.
Well, we're working on a couple of things. A lot of them have to do with water. I will say that again. We have literally a major package of bills that are all about protecting groundwater, protecting our water resource, our drinking water, our water resource in general. We also have a set of bills that are specific to setbacks and making sure that our construction, our development, things that are going on, things that could potentially be harmful, like landfills or water treatment and things like that, have even wetlands to have a far enough back setback to protect those spaces to make sure that we continue to protect that water. So that's a big piece of it. I also, one of the other major regions I ran was about education and education funding. And so much of my work is on budget, specifically, both in health and human services, specifically mental health, as well as the school funding. So I chair 2 of the 3 school funding committees, and I'm on the 3rd one. It is a primary part of our work between now and the end of June, when we'll get the budget done for the 2026 year. So things are really hectic right now, but we are focused on doing everything we can to increase funding, especially for schools. We are looking at a pretty good increase for this year. For next year, we should be able to get over 10,000 per pupil as a base. And then things that get added on to that are the things that we continue to focus on, making sure that we take care of details of supporting students that need extra support, making sure that people get transportation if they need it all, and safety. We have a big push on safety in schools, as well as our community, of course, but also mental health. It seems to be probably the most important thing that we're doing, and that was the 3rd thing that I ran for office for. Just so happens I'm snared in all of those major topics of the day, and I'm glad to be doing it because it's impacting all our people here in West Bloomfield, I think.
Correct, correct. And that just lets me know that you are taking into consideration some of the things that you've already heard, the concerns from some of the residents, and just being ahead of the curve, like we said, mental health being one of the top concerns just in school and just in life in general. So we are happy that you're a part of those types of initiatives as well. I want to speak on a few other key concerns that may be affecting local residents. Infrastructure and public safety. You spoke on safety briefly also. What steps is the state taking, to improve roads, public transportation, and emergency services in our area?
Yeah, so it's interesting. This year will be the first time in a very long time where, if we are successful in this budget negotiation that's underway now, we will be putting a significant investment in local roads for the communities, including West Bloomfield. So typically, that's not something that happens at the state level. We tend to have a certain amount of funding that goes to the local government to use as they see fit. It's written in the Constitution primarily. Then there's some discretionary funds that we'll put in depending on how much money we have in the budget. But this year, there's actually going to be a big bucket that is very focused on local roads, because we know, we put a huge amount of energy. Our governor ran on roads 7 years ago and put a lot of effort into the highways. You all have lived through some of these major road constructions. I know everybody's been seeing that. But now this time, we've heard it from everyone. We have to do something about our local roads. I mean,
Right.
there's subdivisions that you can barely get across in a car, right? And you almost have to have everybody get a Jeep or a four-wheel drive vehicle just to get in and out of their own little streets. So we know that's a top issue, and we're going to really focus on putting more money in. It's really fundamental.
Right.
And it goes directly to the community, so the community decides, here are the most critical things, right? Not having somebody in Lansing who doesn't live here make that decision.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
No, great
We're
point.
excited about that. I mean, this is a very classic case of listening to where we are, right? And what is it that people are most worried about? And I do think schools, mental health, and roads are really high on that list, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I would wholeheartedly agree as someone who commutes himself and just deal with the outside pressures of things, understanding mental health and the importance of it. We appreciate those efforts. Once again, with us right here live on The Splash, Senator Rosemary Bayer talking about the upcoming Coffee and Conversations event that'll be happening Friday, February 21st, 11 to 12 p.m., at the West Bloomfield Library meeting room. Now, I want to kind of get to that very briefly. Don't want to hold up too much more of your time. I want you to explain the role that the community plays on shaping your legislative priorities, and how can residents become more involved in policy discussions in general?
It's interesting. We really pay attention when people call. I mean, this is truly the most important part of the job, is this district, the constituents and the people that live here. My job is to listen, understand what people are looking for, what people need, and work on those things. And even we had a single call from a person late last year. His wife died. She was killed in a traffic incident with a person who was 94 years old. And the question of, is that an appropriate time to still be driving? And because it was certainly the elderly person's fault in the accident. And so we have been doing research, and we've been working with people in other states and working with our legal resources. And we are going to submit a bill that actually will change the rules about driving when you get to be over 80. There's a lot of data that we found nationally and in the state on what happens to your driving records at those ages, and what should we be doing as a state to make sure that people really are okay to drive as they get to those higher ages. And I'm not talking about 65, I'm talking about 80. We all know people who are, I'm 66, but I'm a good driver.
Right.
Everybody will say that, right?
Right.
But all the data shows that 75 and 80 are the breaking points on when things start to happen. So we're actually working on that. And even though it was only one person, the fact that that person called us and we went and dug into the issue and went, holy mackerel.
Yep, good point.
Nobody's even paying attention to this. And we went and looked at all the national data and thought, geez, we really should start to look at this differently. So that is a significant thing. And that was one person's phone call. So we are always paying attention. We will always respond when somebody calls us and asks for something. Sometimes we can't do it, but doesn't mean we don't want to.
Correct. Correct. And that's just, like you said, just one example of someone who took the initiative to go ahead and reach out to you in regards to their concerns and then the efforts that you're putting in as a result of that. So that should encourage residents to make sure they reach out to their local senator and attend events like the Coffee and Conversation happening Friday, February 21st at the West Bloomfield Township Main Library meeting room. Before we let you go, Senator Bayer, any additional messages you want to get out to the community regarding this event or just in general we should be aware of?
In general, I think, we are always doing something, right? I'm in the district all the time. We do have to go to Lansing Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, but the other days I'm in the district. And you'll see, if you look at our Facebook, if you follow, I am always posting pictures of things that we're doing. But we're also always we have bigger gatherings, town halls and summits and things like that. If you go to our website, you can scroll in there and sign up for our mailing list. We don't send out a lot of mail, but you'll be able to hear when things are happening, or you can follow us on Facebook or Blue Sky or one of those kind of social media things, and you can see what's happening. I want to have you an opportunity to meet you in person and to talk directly. That is really great. We really appreciate it. We appreciate the input that we get from those live interactions. And give us a call anytime. We helped 7,000 people with unemployment challenges as we all went through COVID in 2020 to 22 in that space there where everybody was struggling. We are very powerful and focused on helping the people in the district. So that's why we want to hear from you. That's why we hope we'll see you, and call anytime.
And we thank you so much for all the work that you do and for representing us right here in the 13th District in Greater West Bloomfield. Once again, Michigan Senator Rosemary Bayer, we appreciate your time.
Thank you so much, Kevin. It's great to be here with you today.